let's talk about the tour.
Okay.
This was your first major tour.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When I saw you and your band play at the Triple Door, it felt to me like you had just gotten off tour. Because typically, I see bands that are that tight coming off just playing 13 dates.
Yeah.
You guys were that tight when you started.
Correct.
That's nuts. How many rehearsals did you have before that Triple Door show?
2.
Come on. Come on.
No. Because professional musicians,
They get it.
you listen, you watch, you fit in. You
Wow.
listen, you watch, you communicate, you keep your eyes open, you fit in, it's tight.
Wow.
That's how it happens. You have to have faith in your ability and your instrument and faith in your ability to communicate with the other people on stage. That's all it is. And people blow it up and it's a big thing and this and that. It is the same thing that makes everything else work. It's the same thing that makes a basketball team work. It's the same thing that makes any kind of sports team work. You got it. Exactly. Everybody knows their position.
Yeah.
And then you show up on time and you watch.
Wow.
Yep.
So I want to talk a little, so let's not leave the tour. I want to talk more about the tour. First major tour. Were there any hiccups?
None.
No, come on,
None.
Stephanie.
No, not a
Really?
one. The first gig on the tour was a full band thing. And being that I, went out and hired a bunch of just gunslingers.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Just about everybody was busy. So Sean, our bass player, is on tour with his band Acid Tongue.
Yep.
They're all over Europe. Jeff Fielder is on tour with Amy Ray Band. So we had to get
Amy Ray Band. By the way, that's the Indigo Girls.
The Indigo Girls.
Yeah,
Yes.
Amy Ray Band.
I know.
I love you for that.
This is how I tell the story about working with Jeff Fielder when I'm on stage.
Okay.
This man goes on tour with Hart and the Indigo Girls and Brandy Carlisle and comes home and still takes my phone calls.
He's a class act, and he's phenomenal. Listening to him wail behind you, I mean, the two of you were dueling. It was clear he was also a star on that damn stage.
Yes.
I was super impressed with him, and I walked away going, I have a newfound appreciation and love for that man's talents.
Yes.
It was amazing. How did you connect with these people?
Tekla I had met through Rain City Rock Camp.
Okay.
Many years ago. I won't say how many because Tekla and I are female identified people. So you do with that whatever you want.
Okay.
But we had both been asked to talk to this group of young people at the rock camp about stage presence and what it is to take the stage. So I remember my first meeting of her at that time. And then she would go on to do the great ladies of country music events that would happen at the Triple Door. It was a series that she put on over a couple of summers, and she invited me out to be a part of that a couple of times.
Okay.
So just absolutely, she's an incredible booker. She's an incredible songwriter. She's an incredible vocalist. So it was Tekla. And then the pandemic happened. And one of the things that me and one of my former bandmates did, we did a series where I invited everybody that I know in the Pacific Northwest who wields a guitar, come do an hour with me on this live stream and let's see what happens. And we had Kathy Moore come out. We had R.L. Heyer come out. We had one of my friends who plays in the pit at the Fifth Avenue. We had him come out.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Exactly. And Jeff Fielder came out. And there was a little energy, because
Yeah.
Jeff Fielder is Jeff Fielder. My goodness. So great. So after that happened, we started knowing about, I guess both of us being musicians in that Seattle the Seattle milieu. We both knew about each other, but we started working together in, I want to say, gosh, must have been 2021.
Okay.
I went to Jeff's house, and we were going to make an EP. We were going to do 4 or 5 songs EP. It's settled. That's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And we did one day of recording and was like, we should just make a record. Why are we bullshitting? Let's just make you want to make a record? Okay, we're making a record.
I love that.
The first song that we recorded was the titular song called Jewels. And that's the first song that we recorded. And he brings me back to his house and, sits me in front of his computer and he's playing this song for me. And he has added all of these things to this song that fills it out and makes it so mature and emotional, but I still sound like myself. So of course I cried my face off because I'm an emotional person and I cry when things are emotional. That was the start of a lot of this foolishness.
When I introduced you on stage the other night, I said, she's an R&B singer, she's a country singer, she's a folk singer, she's a soul singer, and I feel like you do all of those things really well. Mm-hmm. How would you describe what it is that you do?
That's a great question, and I kind of enjoy it being a mystery. Because, it's not easy being the one brown person in a band and you show up to, Slim's Last Chance or the Little Red Hen or whatever, and the people in the bolo ties with the, the Stetsons are looking at you. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? They're giving you the look, and it's like, look. I also know all the words to Mama Tried. We will be fine. We will be fine. I promise you. I've heard of David Allan Coe. We will be fine.
Oh my God! I can't believe you just said that.
Yes, I did. So
David Allan Coe.
Yes, I did. Partially, I learned what I think of as the rules of each genre for a vocalist, right? Like R&B vocalists, these are the rules that they stick to. The country vocalists, these are the rules that they stick to. And then each artist within that genre is going to play around the edges of what those rules are. So for me, it's been like listening. Because the things that Tanya Tucker is doing with a vowel and the things that Dolly Parton is doing with a vowel is not what Billie Holiday is doing with a vowel, is not what Aretha Franklin is doing with a vowel. But each one of these artists within their genre are sticking to rules, basically.
Oh shit, that was money right there. That whole thing was money. That's a really interesting perspective, though, that you're learning the rules as you go, because yes. I don't feel like there's never a moment I doubt your authenticity.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
So you're learning the rules, but you're bending them too.
Exactly. I had an art teacher when I was in high school who was a photography teacher. And she would tell us about, okay, these are the rules for how we take a good photo. And now which one of those rules are you going to bend to tell your story? Which I absolutely loved, this concept of, yes, we learn what the rules are so we know which hammer to use to break them. I love that. That's great. Also, I went to PLU and studied voice for a number of years. And I really feel like having in-depth time to study vocals, really like the sharpness of my mind that listens to vocals is different than the sharpness of my mind that like listens to an entire song or an entire piece.
Okay.
So I'm really grateful for that time that I had to like to kind of extract the vocal from the rest of the music,
yeah.
so that I can really be zeroing in on okay, well, this is the treatment that this particular artist is using with this particular vowel, and they are from this part of the country, which has this background in the accents that people use to speak. So, like, am I like borrowing this to tell the story, or am I saying it how I would say it, but informed by? Right?
Right.
So it's always an interesting mix.
You kind of touched on it for a second, and I want to approach it again. You talked about race and how you notice walking into some venues in the Northwest a different look than maybe the rest of your band is getting.
Yep.
What has that looked like for you over the years of being out and playing live venues?
I remember a couple of years ago, I was playing this place that is, I guess you could say it's in Puyallup because it's off of Pioneer Road, the Chalet, if you've ever been out there.
No.
And I was out there and had gotten hired to play some music, and I'm, there's country people in here, so I'm reading the audience, there's country people in here, let's play some country music, let's have a good time with it, right? So I come off stage, and I'm standing by the merch booth, and somebody is talking to me, and it's just like, I really love what you do. I mean, it's not really country music, but I really love what you do. And so, so it was comments like that, coupled with, going into the KEXP live in studio that we did, where Eva Walker, says to me, well, I think of you as a country artist. So, people say you're a this, and then other people look at me and say, there's no way you could be a this. Like I was singing at Amazing Grace Church for a number of years when Eric Odell was pastoring that church, and he was saying to me, you're a country artist. And then several years before, I was on The Voice, and I was talking about my love of country music, and I was told that I was missing something important for country music. Whatever that means.
What did that mean?
I have no idea.
That's a weird thing to say to somebody.
That
speaks like, yeah, that's a weird thing to say to someone, I think.
For me, country music is a branch off of the root, it's an arm on the torso of American music. There's country music, there's rock, there's soul, there's jazz, there's blues, and they're all branches, all beautiful arms off of this incredible stalk, this incredible torso that is our culture, our larger American culture. And the thing that I told Eva Walker, I'll be goddamned if I'm denied any part of this feast. It's already mine. So I'm going to enjoy myself getting lost in it, and telling the stories that I feel like are mine to tell.